ride the ring. I think it's just what I'm used to.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's just the rings.
Whatever works for you. I usually have these ones as well. Oh yeah. They're just heavy at most of it, but I also tend to, because you can walk the mic and you can still hear the bumping in the audio. So I did both of those.
Yeah, so they're pushed up now?
Yeah, they're pushed in. They're pushed around. Yeah, I usually turn the master up and then I push those straight up. And I just did the front.
I don't want to bring it down a little, but I'm just looking at it, oh, it's going to be an issue. So
Good evening and welcome to Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility for tonight's NPL Northern New South Wales match of the round. Is Adamstown Rosebuds taking on the undefeated Edgeworth Eagles in what shapes as a fascinating Friday night clash. Conditions are a little deceptive tonight. It is cool. There is a strong breeze coming off the lake. Not your typical early season evening, but it could certainly play a role with long balls, set pieces and how both sides build. It's certainly wonderful to have you tuning in on the Northern New South Wales YouTube channel, wherever you're tuning in from. I'm Chris McPherson, bringing you all the action. Alongside me tonight, a man, an attacking fullback, a goal threat, and he's back on the park after an ACL injury. Cruelled his season last year. Up at Western in the Bears colours in 2026. Matt Butner, good to have you back on Northern New South Wales YouTube.
Yes, thank you so much, Chris. It's good to be back in the hot seat with you tonight. And yeah, cold, windy conditions here at Lake Macquarie, but expecting a good standard of football. The pitch looks pretty decent. We just saw the reserve grade have a run previously. But yeah, look, up and running for this season. As you can hear that wind like howling behind us. And that's going to play some condition tonight to the game.
It certainly is. It's gusting too. It'll really come through for a little bit, then it drops off. So it's going to be challenging for the players. That you would think the smart players along the ground a bit more tonight. But let's talk about these two teams leading in. For Adamstown, it's fair to say a disrupted start to the season. A weather interruption a couple of weeks ago against Newcastle Olympic. Then a draw against Magic, which looked like it might be starting to turn the tide. And then last week, they're underway against Lambton. And the lights went out at Adamstown Oval. Hence, we're here today at Spheres Point. That means they've got 2 games, it looks like, to catch up now already after 5 games. The only sides really to, well, them and the 2 opponents are the only ones to do that. So that's going to be a lot of load, but it's hard to get a bit of momentum when those sorts of things are happening.
Yeah, of course. We're obviously very early in the season, right, Chris? For Adamstown's sake, they're already a game behind, essentially 2 games with the Lambton last week, of course, and it's just the momentum that everyone's seeking at the start of the season. They haven't had that, unfortunately. They're still searching for their first win, but they will get confidence out of that result they got against Broadmeadow with a 2-2 draw. 2-0 down to come back to a team like Broadmeadow, of course, you're going to get some confidence out of that. And, you know, to come up against a good side like Edgeworth, they don't leak many goals at all, Edgeworth, but they're coming here as the only team undefeated this season so far, and I have no doubt they want to keep that scoreline.
Yeah, certainly Edgeworth are flying high, as you touched on, but Adamstown, you take some positivity, I think, if you're Chris Moylan. As much as he said during the week that, you know, it needs to stop here, the results need to start coming. They showed positivity against Lambton in the bit of that game that did get underway. As you said, good work against Broadmeadow. So they're not that far away, despite the fact that we've got a team that is undefeated versus a winless team. That said, Peter McGuinness, he likes winning, and he'll have passed that message on to the team in terms of the continuation of the form they've had to start the season. That will be the focus.
Yeah, of course. And look, from a player's perspective as well, Chris, tonight, it's Friday night footy, it's cold, it's windy. You know, the mentality is really important tonight. You know, who turns up, who starts the game strong. This could be anyone's off the get-go.
It's certainly good. Let's have a look at how the 2 teams line up as you see them going through their pre-match handshakes and pieces. That will have the coin toss in a moment. We'll start with Edgeworth, the visitors. In goals will be Ben Conway. Number 4 will be Xander Wowries. 5, Tyler Harrison. 6, Jared McKechnie. 7 is Reese McManus. 8, Matt Jones. 10, Aaron Niankuru. 11, Flynn Goodman. 12 is Stephen Cordwell. 18, Aidan Gardner, and 19, Tyson Jackson. As I said, they're coached by Peter McGuinness. For Adamstown, in goals, number 1 is George Scorer. 2, Naveen Richardson. 3, Tom Smart. 4, Dane Lawther. 5, Michael Burns. 6, Ryan Rook. 7, Chris Ray. 8, Will Davidis. 9, Dino Fajkovic. 10, Caden Soper. 11, Jack Brown. One of those names I just mentioned there, very experienced campaigner in Dino Fajkovic. He's got himself on the score sheet in the early game, but he hasn't found the back of the net in the last little bit. He's such a key piece, his experience, his composure on a night like tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And I had a little glimpse of Adamstown as well earlier this season against Charlestown. And I thought they actually put up a good fight there as well. You know, just losing that game 1-0 to Charlestown. But they have showed good signs this season so far. I know the results haven't landed their way. Like you said, they had some good spells against the Jaffas last week. Unfortunately, the light's going out. But yeah, he's the experience that they're going to be leaning towards. Obviously, the captain as well for Adamstown. And they've got to start on a strong foot tonight, Chris. They have to.
Certainly have. Edgeworth, they'll look to move the ball around. They've played very much a form of football this year where they've conceded some goals, but they've scored plenty. They're up into double digits already in this campaign, and they will back their attack and ball movement. And we are underway here as Wowries pushes it across. That defensive pairing of Wowries and Harrison that established themselves last year with Edgeworth. Immediately, some heavy touches before it goes across the sideline. See the two goalkeepers both absolutely rugged up. You never want to be too busy as a goalkeeper, but you wouldn't mind a little bit of action, I think, early, Butts, just to keep you warm.
Yeah, I agree. So I think even just from a confidence perspective as well, like how important is it for the keeper to get a touch, to get their first save of the game, especially on a night like this.
Adamstown go the long throw as the wind drops off for a split second. It just ends up bouncing back across the sideline. Edgeworth wastes no time in getting it back underway. Now they push it across their back line. Jones pushing it down the line now to Goodman. Goodman cuts inside. Beats one defender, beats another. First defender where Harrison has the ball. He'll play it down the right line. Head back in. Looks like Jackson out on the right for them. He was a physical and aggressive presence for them last year. Found himself on the wrong side of the referees a couple of times during the season. Adamstown just happy to go along. Sort of playing slightly with the wind, I think you'd say. It's sort of swirling around at different points, coming from different directions.
Yeah, it's coming from here, there and everywhere at the moment. It's pretty hard to predict where the ball's landing. It's pretty hard to predict where the wind's coming into the mic as well, to be honest.
Yeah, each time we turn one way or the other, all of a sudden it's blustering through. Conway now, just happy to play it out. You can see him immediately just calling for calm, composure in these early stages. Ball pushed forward. Contest there. Caldwell trying to win out, but doesn't get it. And in the end, it'll go across for a throw. Naveen Richardson will take the throw for Adamstown. Adamstown, no, they've changed that over. They've said it's going to be an Eagles throw. Dangerous position here. Will they look the long throw into the box? Looks like they will, coming off the back fence here, or the side fence as it is. See some teams in the NPL that are very good proponents. This Charles and Azuri were very strong at it last year. That's well into the box. Punched instead of caught there by scorer. Dangerous around the edge of the 18-yard box. Kicked on the volley, headed back into the box. Another header goes forward. That was Lawther getting the head to it there. Centre back from Adamstown. I touched on it before, Edgeworth, in terms of that settled pairing, if you might call it that, at centre back. Although they haven't played a lot of games alongside each other yet this year. It's sort of been a case of either one or both being out of action at different points. But they've made no, I guess, misstep for Peter McGuinness about after last season's disappointment by Edgeworth standards. They always see themselves as should be a contender. Bombing out in that final series, they've gone and added some key pieces. Aaron Niankuru is one of those out there. Jaden Stewartson, who's coming off the bench, has come across from Magic as well, Beards.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, like, they're going through a good period at the moment with Pete McGuinness, and the club's in a good position as well, but always driving high standards, of course. They always see themselves, you know, within those top three clubs pretty much every year. We'll see how this one plays out.
Well, a little volley off the side of the boot. It was a little bit almost artistic from McManus. Speaking of players they've brought in, another man who's come to them from Azuri last year.
Yeah, no, he's done really well recruiting-wise. And look, they're going to be a threat again this year also. Adamstown going direct now. They were so good defensively, though, last year, Chris. It was probably unfortunate Edgeworth bumming out so early in the final series, but defensively they were really impressive for the majority of the season, and I think they've already proved that this year. Yes, they've leaked a couple of goals, but they're still yet to lose one.
Opportunity here, ball in the box, cleared away. Tom Smart living up to his name there. Yeah, it's certainly, and again, I think when you look at their defence this year, just watch this play out, a little scrappy. Ball parries in off Niankuru and is taken by scorer. The fact that they haven't had this first choice centre-back pairing, because that was such a big part of this last year. They were so controlled. We called them a couple of times together last year, Butts, and that was such a key piece, this Harrison and Wowries combo. It was dangerous. They found ways to clear balls. They found ways to shut down attacking threats from other teams quite frequently. And I think if Pete McGuinness can keep the both of them healthy this year from here on in, then they're going to, again, form a key part of that.
Yeah, massively so. They're just so disciplined defensively.
Adamstown with a chance here. Deflected shot. Conway read that well. Threw himself out there to the edge of the 6-yard box just to reel that in. He realised it had taken a deflection. Vajkovic barking orders at his teammates, asking them to press up. Conway gets all of that. That's gone 60-plus metres off the boot. Richardson in a contest there with Caldwell, so appeals for a foul after Caldwell threw himself in at a height. Comes back to Richardson. Nothing presents in front, so he goes back to Tom Smart and plays it across to Lawther. He'll swing it all the way down to the left edge. This is a bit more settled from Adamstown now rather than just hitting and hoping. Trying to work the numbers. At Edgeworth, as they do, that organised block. Look at all those numbers pushing back behind the ball. And then they'll try and turn on the break after Jackson takes it away. Nothing presenting, so they go across to Harrison. And that was something you drew attention to. I think that maybe the first time we called them last year together, Matt, was that they do that so well. They congest and get that block set. The 8 players essentially sitting in the defence and midfield line, coming in almost in between the lines of the 18-yard box and settling back in a block. Yeah, you're right. You'll see the 2 boys up front probably staying, occupying the centre-backs. But outside of that, you've got 2 blocks of 4. It's just a loose pass there from Smart. Keeper's caught late, I think. Yeah, not a lot in terms of the time. You can see Caldwell tried to actually turn out of it, but just over-committed himself. And the referee, you sometimes see when things involve the goalkeeper, they're quick to jump to the next level of punishment. The referee did really well there, just realised what it was. It was mistimed. He did try and turn his body out of it, Caldwell, and so a foul is more than enough. The free kick there, a fair punishment, I guess, in terms of that one. Yeah, I agree. Well adjudicated. No tickets as of yet. No need. Yeah, just going back to that previous play with Adamstown, as they go direct now. Again, I feel in that position right there, Chris, like they can just enjoy a spell of possession at the moment. They can control the 2 boys. They're playing a 5v2 if you're including the goalkeeper. And you just use the width of this field. There's a little bit of a bobble. I did say the field was looking all right earlier, but it has taken a little bit of a beating with a reserve grade game. So you might expect this game to be a little bit more direct, especially with the wind. Opportunity now for the Eagles. They play it wide. Sitting out now for Goodman. Cuts back inside. Will he take a strike? No, feeds it into the box. I thought he was looking for Niankuru. Finds another man instead. Scorer was late to react, but got across. Not enough power on the shot in the end. And to be fair, I'm questioning whether it would have ended up on target or maybe just to the right of goal from Caldwell, but he's been busy early, the man up front. Yeah, he has. Good little swift play from Edgeworth, just going out to the left to Goodman there, who's already been a bit of a threat for the start of this game, as he's on the ball now. And yeah, it was probably just mishit that one, Chris. Didn't get as much as he would have liked because the keeper was caught, probably wrong-footed there. Yeah, he certainly was trying to cover his near post, wasn't he? And just as you say, didn't quite get enough of it, didn't get the angle to really make it a threatening shot, as we see. A header from Edgeworth captain Tyson Jackson goes across the line, as does the pushback from the throw in there for Reece McManus. They just look so much more organised. It's a word that often comes to mind when I see Edgeworth playing, even against the other top sides. But this Adamstown side just looking a little disjointed. I don't know whether it's the wind or the format and the formation that they're playing, as Niankuru gets a deflected header and it comes down there for McKechnie. Goes wide, but beats even the pace of Jackson racing down the line. It'll be an Adamstown throw to be taken by Burns. Yeah, we'll see if Adamstown can retain the ball here now and enjoy a spell. But for me, off the ball, Adamstown, their lines are just too disjointed at the moment. There's way too many gaps there for Niankuru to just enjoy some space. And he's had a good start to the season as well in new colours for Edgeworth. So expect him to be dangerous tonight. Try and pick up the ball in the pocket and just bridge the gap between the back and the front of the field for Edgeworth. Such a dangerous player, isn't he? And I know you would have watched him closely last year as an opponent as well, but he can feel like he's almost not in a game and then just appear from somewhere. And once he gets going, it can just be that little window of 5 or 10 minutes of involvement that can turn a game on its head. Yeah, he's a really tricky 10, as you just saw him make a bit of a reverse run there. He's one that you've got to keep your eye on for 90 minutes for sure. Play it out now to Smart. He goes down the line to Richardson. Back infield, pressure on. I'm liking the aggressive intent from Cordwell. Obviously found himself on the wrong side of the referee when he clipped the keeper before, but he's not going to die wondering. He's happy to press high. He's got lots of energy early. Is that Richardson? Missed touch there for McManus. Goodman with some nice footwork, giving the ball inside. Play it back out now. Gardner. Works out this time as Lawther gets a boot, but the deflection falls now for Niankuru. This could be dangerous. He pulls up. Tangled challenge. And he's going to give away a foul there. He knew exactly what he was doing, Aaron Niankuru, but realised that he was not going to catch the Adamstown player if they got away.
Yeah, pretty smart professional foul there, to be honest with you. It looked like Adamstown could have went pretty quickly the other way, but no tickets again as of yet. There's not much in it, but yeah, pretty smart for Niankuru there. Just got away from him, had to make a foul. And Adamstown looked like they're just going to punt it long here and try and get something out of it for a second first ball.
There it is, well covered for Conway. He raced out off his line and takes it easily in the end. I'll tell you what, if we think it's a bit windy and cold here, I reckon it's going to be twice as windy and cold at Blacksmiths tonight for that game. Also going on at the same time, Bell Swans versus Charlestown Azuri.
I can only imagine.
It's blustery at the best of times down at Blacksmiths Oval. Adamstown now with a throw in the attacking half with Richardson.
Now the challenge for Adamstown now is how can they retain the ball in Edgeworth's half? As I've said that, it's just gone out of the throw-in for a goal kick, but they're struggling to enjoy any sort of spell of possession at the moment, or controlled possession in Edgeworth's half.
I think that's the third time already tonight, not long gone, where they've had a throw-in that's either come straight back off one of their own players or has gone out essentially just through the pack uncontested. We had one on the far side, one just in front of us, and that's the third one now. So there's little things like that. I know it's windy and blustery, but this competition, people might think there's a big gap between the top and the bottom. There really isn't, and it's just those little bits of polish and, I guess, clinicality. Is that a word? We'll go with it now. Clinicality. If it wasn't before, it is now. That clinicalness.
Clinicalness, execution.
Yeah, correct. They're not huge margins, but it's about consistently getting them right. As Fajkovic gets ahead to that, now it falls down.
That's a great challenge there.
Ball out in front, looking for McManus advancing forward, but covered off again by Smart. Plays it safe and just puts it across the sideline. Goodman will take the throw. Happy to drop it back to Jones. Jones going all the way back to Conway, who meanders his way out of the 18-yard box. And Jones looks at that diagonal across the ball, but just holds up a little in the wind. There's a little bit of a moment of almost panic for Adamstown as Burns headed that back, and the scorer had to do absolutely everything just to retrieve that, and I thought he might have been very close to the edge of his 18-yard box when he parried it down. As the wind gets even wilder here at Lake Macquarie. Ketchney gives it off. Now played back by Jackson, driven long. Cordwell just couldn't quite get the bounce he was looking for there, but the flag goes up for offside. So he got a real jump on the defender.
Yeah, it was a good line by Adamstown, whether it was intentional or not. And I think the fullback there didn't know too much about the onwards runner there from Edgeworth, but again, it looks like we've got a break now in the wind, and then it just comes again. You don't know what's going on here at Lake Macquarie tonight.
Isn't it? There's a lot of gusts.
Yeah, coming from everywhere, like you said, Chris. It's just really awkward if you're not meeting the ball first and you're letting that thing bounce or just glide in the air. It could cause havoc.
It's almost a lottery at that point. I do apologise. There's not a lot we can do with the wind drifting in so many directions and gusting at the level it is. The challenge there. Adamstown come out on top. They clear it long where it finds the defenders of Edgeworth. Nice battle there where Gardner came out on top. Now Goodman set free, but he runs out of support, so he just turns back and tries to take a shot. Richardson's found himself central and blocks the shot. And Adamstown Just try and push it forward now to trouble. Doesn't quite work out. It's sent straight back. But now they've got a little bit of space through Burns. Who again lofts it down. He's looking for Soper, who I feel like we haven't even said his name yet tonight. He's been limited in his opportunity.
Not Xander where he's our right fullback on the ball now.
Tyson Jackson out wide there. Yep.
Tyson Jackson and Goodman, who are running the flanks for Edgeworth tonight. And yeah, as you can see off the ball, they're in the line with their centre backs, and on the ball they're causing some havoc up the line. Goodman's probably had a bit more exposure this half, and it just poses a threat for Adamstown. If you get those wing backs on board, we all know how much of a threat that can be.
Certainly, Adamstown just applying a little more pressure now. Calls Edgeworth back to Conway. And he finds it out to Jones. Again, that probably just sums up Adamstown's start of the game so far. A misdirected pass, and even when they got a boot to it, all they could do was parry it over the sideline. And Kuru dropping back. Pick that one up. They try and feed it forward, but Richardson reads it. Lofts it forward looking for Fajkovic. Headed away, though, by Wowries. Just exchanging in midfield. Edgeworth trying to settle their numbers back and congested. Fajkovic snuck in behind. I think he's onside. No, the flag goes up. That would have been tight. He just drifted off the back hip. There was a couple of players sitting deeper centrally, but he must have got a jump on them as well.
Yeah, nice little passage there from Adamstown. And like you said, it wasn't far off. From my eyesight, I thought it was going to be play on there, but it wasn't to be. Can Adamstown try to push some sort of pressure at the moment? Conway just free to knock one over the top.
Almost falls friendly there, but the header again by Smart. He's saved their bacon a few times already early. That one a little bit too tall for Soper. Nice ball out in front now for Goodman. He's got some space down the left flank if he can accelerate and take them on the outside. He does, but again, Richardson's there. Richardson and Smart have both been strong early for Adamstown. A lot of work, though.
Yeah, a lot of contributions, but they've, again, done exceptional there. Double teaming Goodman as he runs up the line.
Niankuru plays it off. Wowries well out of his normal station. Ball pushed forward here. Caldwell into the 18-yard box, tries to feed it in. And he'll just let it slide across, and they'll take the corner here, Will Edgeworth. First real threatening set piece, and Adamstown are bringing back everyone into the box. Fajkovic getting back there. With one player sitting out, so 10 players in the box for Adamstown. It's the lone man out front. Here's Fajkovic who gets the boot to it. He gets that front post and just parries it back over the byline. Another corner, back-to-back corners.
Yeah, Dino meets that one out for a corner, and we've seen this man score from the set piece as well back in round one against Broadmeadow. Do they go for that back stick where they have Xander Wowries, a couple of big bodies? He usually tries to put it right on the keeper if he can. They go short.
Short, back to Niankuru. Lofts it in now with the left. Again, Fajkovic there, just drives it down towards halfway where Jackson's waiting for it. Jackson will push it wide now. Gardner. Wowries. This is where you feel if Adamstown can get the ball and get a little break on them, can they catch Edgeworth napping? No. Broken up again. Well done. Fajkovic thought he'd snuck in behind. Jones pushes it across. Jackson now just finds Goodman. Goodman a little tuck back inside against his opposite number in Brown. McManus loses the ball. A bit of a slip. We've seen a couple of players now start to slip. We can see it certainly up close on the patch of turf just in front of us. There's certainly some traction marks starting to come in this turf. It might just be leading to a little bit of slippage, especially as it cools down. Jackson now playing across on the left, gives it to Goodman. Prods it forward. Smart gets a boot in. Goodman again just tracks it back. And it's lofted forward, looking for McManus. Can he get the right bounce? No, it was taken there by Lawther, and they send it long. Adamstown wanting to clear it out of their own end. Fajkovic just sneaking around in behind there, looking for, is that favourable bounce you're talking about, or maybe the wind drift?
Yeah, definitely. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that tonight. I think you've got to meet the ball first time. If you're letting it bounce.
There's a nice ball there from Wowries. He finds Caldwell in behind. He's going to try and cross it in, but it's deflected off 2 sets of legs and it'll be a goal kick.
Yeah, got a little bit unfortunate there.
Depends which side of the equation you're on tonight. If you're an Adamstown fan, you might think that's the bounce that you needed for a change tonight.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, wicked ball there over the top. Just drove through the wind. It was a great knock, just left to right. Both teams have been pretty direct already, like Edgeworth, of course, playing a little bit more on the ground. Adamstown probably still yet to find any joy in their front third. But as it stands, 0-0, and we haven't had any real threats on goal at all.
No shots in anger yet as Jackson tracks back and just trickles this one forward. Fashki pushing across, but Edgeworth get a boot to it. Author's there. It's parried back down towards the Adamstown defensive end, and will go across the sideline for a Rosebud's throw, and absolutely no one seems in any sort of urgency to go and take it. It'll be Michael Burns to take the throw. It's interesting when you look at this, the Adamstown back four. You've got Naveen Richardson and Tom Smart playing on the right, who are both, I think it's fair to say, diminutive compared to the other two on the left side. Michael Burns, who plays as that left fullback, much more the build of a centre-back, but he's so athletic once he gets going and has good control and has really made that left-back spot his own.
Yeah, no, he's been top again tonight, dealing with what he has to at the moment. But yeah, he does have that more traditional centre-back looking physique to him.
But as we've seen, there's lots of teams going away from that. You've only got to look at what Landon Jaffers have been rolling out at different points, you know. Oates and McNaughton at one point, I think, was the centre-back pairing to start round one. So now he's going on a run, showing us the centre-backs can do a little bit of everything. McManus just toes it forward, keeps it just inside the sideline, step over the ball. Oh, nice work there, and just cops a clip. Very little in it. I don't think Naveen Richardson even knew he'd got him until the contact happened. He had his back turned and everyone was spinning in a different direction.
Yeah, well played from McManus there. Just backed himself on the touchline, showed his pace, found himself in a 2-on-1 position, and yeah, just forced himself in between the both of them and won himself a foul.
Dangerous position.
Yeah, very, very dangerous.
That said, I think Naveen Richardson will be happy that he gave away the innocuous and unintentional foul there, because if he hadn't unintentionally clipped him, I think McManus was open into the 18-yard box with the ball. So
we didn't know much about it, right? He kind of just put his leg out, and
I think he just got turned inside out and didn't realise. He kind of just got stuck in the mud, if you will.
Yeah, I think so.
Ian Kuru here, Harrison, one other runner presenting at the pack at the front. So bodies in motion now. Ian Kuru drifts it towards the top corner. Oh my word! Gets the top of the crossbar, and that is why he is so dangerous from a set piece, Aaron Niankuru. That was so nonchalant from him, and it rattles the woodwork.
Yeah, very nonchalant, very calm. His approach to that free kick, and no movement from the keeper in the sticks for Adamstown, as it kind of just floated, and we're all waiting to see if that dropped into the top corner. Not far off at all. That's the best chance of the game.
Certainly isn't. I love Aaron Niankuru, though. Most players would have had their head in their hands after that. He just walked away like, oh, well, that happens. I'll get him next time.
Yeah.
But he just knows how good, he just knows how lethal he can be from those sorts of spots, doesn't he? He knows if they give him another chance, he probably will put it in the top bins.
Of course, and I think Adamstown would have to have a look at that and go, look, well, if they did any sort of homework on Edgeworth, they know that he's a threat.
They've gotten away with one there.
Yeah, they wouldn't want to give another one around that kind of range.
Now Edgeworth at the throw, just over halfway. Jackson just looking at his options as they present. He's got McKechnie back if he wants him, and that's where he goes. McKechnie nearly did himself. He did do himself undone there. Just turned too tight and lost the ball for a second. It's happened to the best of us. Now they go the long ball back Adamstown, and Lawther will play it back to scorer. So from a goalkeeper tonight, with his ball bobbling around a little bit off the surface and drifting even when it's low in the wind, I wouldn't want too many back passes. There's a collision there, and again, I think that was completely unintentional. I don't think that Wowries realised that Soper was there, and again, it's one of the things too with the wind. It just changes how sounds travel out there as well, so your awareness where you're using your peripherals and your hearing is a little bit diminished, and you'll see some of those sort of clumsy unintentional challenges. And I think, to be fair, we've seen probably 3 or 4 of them already tonight. And there hasn't been any real malice in this game as yet.
No, not at all. And, Adamstown got themselves in a good position to put something in the box now.
Rook drifts it in, headed away for the time being. Comes forward to McManus. He gets a glancing header off the back. Rook just puts it back in. That was an acrobatic Superman style from Ben Conway. Came racing off his line. It just held more in the wind than he would have liked.
Yeah, good goalkeeping there. There was an Adamstown player lurking in the back stick. It was a good return ball actually back in. Got a bit of that backspin holding up with the wind. And again, if you're giving away free kicks, especially on a night like this, you've got to make sure that you're so disciplined defensively, because it might be a 1-goal game tonight, Chris. I think mentally both teams have to be so sharp. The conditions are definitely not ideal.
No, they're not. You've got to make the most of what you can get, though. And again, as we see, players slipping inside. And Flynn Goodman was sniped. No one near him, and he went over. All pushed back in from Gardner. Now Niankuru. Lovely ball from McManus, but he's a step offside. It's a little too enthusiastic there. Reece McManus trying to push forward. The other thing that's probably challenging for the players tonight too is with this drop in temperature we've had today, it's a good sort of 8 to 10 degrees cooler than any of the other games that we've seen so far this year, even the night games. Just adjusting back, I know it's a winter sport, but adjusting back to that temperature differential. This one races down and Harrison will try and just see it across the byline, and he does. Yeah, that temperature difference, Butts, I know even for us up here in the commentary box we're feeling it tonight, so I can only imagine what the players are.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, look, just the nature of a Friday night game, Chris, most of these boys, if not all, are obviously working on a Friday as well. So if it's not usually training, I know some teams don't train on a Friday night, some do. It just poses, again, a different kind of environment, different challenge to pull up after a week of work, play some Friday night football.
Certainly does. Just parried back there. Richardson in the end just pushed it across the sideline after the pressure from Goodman. Goodman gives it back to Gardner. He'll drop it all the way back to Jones. And he goes even further back to Conway. Keeper brings it out, returns it to that man in Jones, who prods it. Not exactly accurately. It's turned over now. Fajkovic will take a strike from distance. That's beautiful fielding out there from the punter, just wandering past.
Great hands out the back, over the back fence there.
Just minding his own business, just turned and realised the ball's on. He's having a watch there. I'm wondering if it's not someone, with one of the coaching staffs maybe.
Maybe so.
But
that was much better from Adamstown, though, like just pressing on, putting a couple more numbers forward. I think they need to do that with a back. Oh,
little mistake there from Smart. Challenge from Cordwell. He's recovered, though, well, although his back pass to scorer has put him under pressure and they've cleared long. But back to the point you were talking about, it looked a lot more promising from Adamstown, didn't it?
Yeah, I think they got to press with a bit of intent, to be honest. If you're playing wing backs and you've got a back three, if Dino kind of leads the press, forces them one side, you've got to get one of the centre backs on their weak foot, right? And then you just start pressing on with a little bit of a bobble. You've got to back your centre backs to win the aerial ball, especially if it's holding up in the wind. But don't let them have time to play that ball.
Certainly did. You don't have to invite Dino Fajkovic to strike twice from even range. And Kuru crossing this in. Drifts back down with the wind. It's curling with the wind like a Shane Warne leg spinner drifting in.
Yeah, it was so.
Scorer pops it on the surface and then drives it forward. It's headed down by Edgeworth and then falls its way into midfield. Davidis has had a lot to do today. They've gone over his head for most of the time. Now McManus turns Richardson inside out, gets into the 18-yard box. Plays it into the box and Smart just parries it back across the byline, and it'll be a third corner for Edgeworth here.
Yeah, really positive play there from McManus. Again, that's the second time now that he's won that little battle. The first time resulting in a free kick, second one there resulting in a corner. It was probably just the execution on his left foot there that probably let him down, but it's just raw pace, raw ability. If you can isolate him in a wide area, you just go at him.
Niankuru now over the corner. Floats this one up into a dangerous area over the penalty spot there. I think if any of those 2 or 3 leaping Edgeworth players were maybe an inch taller, That could have been a challenge for scorer, but it beats everyone in the end and it'll go for a throw. And that's the lottery of this wind at the moment, is you poke it up like that and there's a moderate wind and it probably sits in the right spot, but that had the wind right behind it and absolutely rocketed it off the boot of Niankuru. Burns with the throw. He looks at winding up long, decides to go short, and now drives it long through the air. Just sending it down there. Pressure will be on from Fajkovic. Wowries for Conway. Conway a little bit of a misstep there. Gets it clear, but only as far as halfway, where Adamstown recovers. Soper has his pocket picked. Wowries tries to turn another player inside out. That doesn't work out. Chested down from Gardner. Now Goodman cuts inside Richardson. Richardson recovers, gets a boot to it, but Goodman's there with time. Trying to throw the ball on the diagonal, just couldn't get enough of it into the wind. That's going to be a hard pass to play, Butts, from right to left there.
Yeah, it's a big ask. But again, Adamstown trying to go quickly at the moment. And they could probably have to, once Edgeworth try to send a couple of bodies forward.
Just catch them on that break before they can get that block set again. But they're so good at one player shoots out, another will slot back into the right role. You've only got to look at, we had Jackson was sitting over on the right edge for a while before. Wowry's pushed forward, and then all of a sudden another man slots in, and you have players like Gardner dropping back into that defensive line, and you see that now. A couple of players have gone forward, and Gardner fills in as a backline member with Harrison pushing downfield.
Yeah, they're very good like that. The rotations off the ball, on the ball. Everyone's comfortable in a position that they maybe didn't start in, and I think that's an influence from Pete McGuinness as well. That's the type of brand of football he likes to play, and genuinely gets a lot of success out of it. So sometimes be tricky defending as well. You've got your eye on a play that you may have started up against, and suddenly 10 minutes into the game, he's on the other side of the field. You're not really sure who you got to mark.
Certainly keeps on the other side's on the toes. Goodman takes on the challenge here, and I was going to say I think that'll be an Edgeworth throw in. Chris Ray did try and convince the assistant referee otherwise. The ball comes in and Niankuru comes away with it despite the attention of Davidis. Ball sent along the turf, prodded back to Harrison. Harrison takes on Fajkovic. Fajkovic does get a boot in, but it rockets across the sideline for another Eagles throw. Certainly feel if you're Edgeworth, you probably should have capitalised a little bit more on the territory and possession.
Yeah, they've definitely dominated large, patches of this game. They've had a small handful of opportunities now at goal. Again, probably the outlying one being that free kick from Niankuru. Nothing directly off open play as such, but Adamstown probably still struggling to just control their moments that they have on the ball. We'll see if that can change now.
Scorer takes it back, plays it out to Lawther. Now it bobbles up awkwardly, comes off his shin and he controls it. Now they go down the line, nice ball in front. Here's Burns, that's what we were talking about before, how he can go on those ranging runs. A little bit of a bump, but the referee says nothing doing.
He may have just tripped on him on the turf there, potentially.
Seen a few of those today. And Burns picks it up and attempts a rugby pass back in. I don't think he'll be getting signed by any local rugby union franchises based on that just yet.
Well, look at his size, maybe though.
Might be a second rower, maybe. They don't need to pass. I can say that as a former one of those myself, as the ball goes all the way back to George Scorer. Both teams happy to play, as you said before. It's nice and direct, but at pace as well.
Yeah, I think it has to be. Again, in a night like tonight, right, Chris, it can also be a matter of just an error. It might be a mistake at the back. It might be a lapse of concentration that will separate the two sides.
See Niankuru playing this forward. Tom Smart, I'm not sure that was exactly textbook, that challenge, but it worked out nicely in the end. It looked like he almost got one of his feet caught on the surface, and now they play forward, and here's Fajkovic, a little touch backwards. Davidis trying to present the right option, but he got stuck as well, couldn't backtrack, and they play wide across to the right for Richardson. Manus closes down the space, get the pass away. Ray back to Richardson. Davidis.
Good ball speed from Adamstown, left to right. This is a good little passage here.
Byrne pushing it in the box. Oh, Soper nearly got a touch on it. Just got out of both of their reaches. Edgeworth clear it away. That's much more promising from the Rosebuds.
Yeah, good little passage there. Much more controlled, discipline, and they got some product at the end of that one. Bit unfortunate for it not to drop into an Adamstown player as they're back in.
But plays it into the legs though, just a little too rushed in getting that away. Didn't want to control it, tried it first touch. Edgeworth front looking for McManus here. Richardson a little quicker. Flag goes up for offside anyway. McManus feeling a little hard done by. I'm not sure why he wanted to pick that one to complain about, because the ball's already back with the keeper and he hadn't won the contest anyway.
Yeah, good line from Adamstown again. Edgeworth looking to go a little bit more direct now. Adamstown suddenly just a bit of a shift in gear. They're enjoying a little spell at the moment. Dino just a little flick pass out the back.
Trying some magic. Davidis on the ball now. Plays it forward. Shot taken. Bounces up kindly for Conway. Adamstown, you feel like they're just getting a little bit of confidence about them now. A few things starting to stick after early days. They couldn't string too many together, and they're a little, I think we used the word disjointed. It's a nice ball from Ray out in front of Gardner. He puts it in behind McManus. Smart.
You just feel like the game's just notched up another level again, Chris, as we're heading into the last 10 minutes of ordinary time for the first half. It is a bit back and forth at the moment.
Goodman slices between two, cuts in again. Richardson just gets better of him. They get another boot, and Richardson kicks it firmly across the byline. We'll have another corner. Fourth down in this northwestern corner of Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility. The grass surface here. It's nice to see the music being able to use the grass. We spent plenty of time here last year, Butts, but it was all on the artificial after all of that rain that we had to start the season in 2025.
Yes, that's right.
Nothing beats playing on turf. Niankuru here goes the short corner again. Prodded back to him. Now he tries to drive it in, and we get another corner. I think my maths is wrong. I think this will actually be the sixth corner in that corner now. We had the repeat on the last one when Fajkovic parried it away. So yeah, this will be number 6. In plenty of practice, we've seen a few different looks from them.
Probably think after the short one, Niankuru's going direct now.
I think so, but McKechnie still presents and shows what we know. McKechnie now chips it in, headed down, parried about, cleared away, appeals for handball, appeals for corner, appeals for goal kick. Take your pick. Referee says corner. We'll go to the other side for something different. We get the flashing lights of the Esplanade dashing past us there, with emergency services just adding to the mood.
I'd have to say, the short corner there, I mean, if Adamstown aren't going to send out 2 players, it's always going to be a 2v1, right? Oh, here they go, they've learned.
Off the deep, there's Lawther's on the ground in the box. That didn't really eventuate to anything. It just floated deep and never straight. Tyson Jackson just tried to tow that forward for himself, but a little too heavy with the touch.
Yeah, strong chase there from Jack Brown. Probably just won his side a throw-in.
Has earned his team good territory there after they defended a couple of corners back-to-back at the other end. Smart on McManus. McManus too interested in trying to appeal for a foul there, and I know we talk about it all the time, but the old adage of play the whistle, it's one of the first things you get taught as a young footballer.
Yeah, I agree. There definitely was hands on him, but not enough. And yeah, Tom Smart, it was smart from him, to be honest. Really good defending. He's had a good half, to be honest, Chris.
He's living really up solid to his name.
He is so.
I feel like that's some very good banter bait if you're nicknamed that and you start losing your head or anything. It's very easy just to start poking fun at that name if you're an opponent.
Yeah, of course.
Speaking of a bit of banter, we threw a nickname out last year for one of your teammates at the Jaffers, Santanella, and he's taken to it with the Milky Bar Kid, and he's promised he's going to come up with a nickname for you this season, Butte. So I'm still waiting for Sam, Milky Bar Kid, if you're listening in, the man who always delivers. we are looking for another corner. So Niankuru will go over and take it from the other side this time. He didn't last, so starting to wear a hole in that boot. The amount of corners he's taken already. Set piece here. See Harrison and Wowry's pushed down into the box. It's all timber for Edgeworth. Ed McKechnie presents with a short corner, but Brown's with him. Now he drifts back in Brown, and I think Nankuru might have liked to have had that again. Just left it a little shorter than intended. Jackson now on the ball at halfway. Drives it low and long. Not back now. Gardner, will he cross it into the box? He does. They get the boot to it through Goodman, and it spills wide. Nankuru's out there. Can't quite control it. He got the first 2 touches. The third one bounced up awkwardly and came off his knee and went across the sideline.
The moments we've seen balls from both sides, Adamstown had one probably a couple of minutes ago just before the chaos, but when both sides are putting balls in, it seems to be pretty dangerous just with the bobble, Chris, as well as the wind. You just don't know where it's going to land.
It's the old long throw-in theory, isn't it? It's just the, hope that the bounce of the ball is kind to you in these sorts of conditions, because there's not much else you can rely on. If you start trying to rely on the bounce of the ball, it won't necessarily go your way, so a bit more hope. Soper. Now Jackson, a more advanced position. Harrison. Jones across now, Wowry's. Comes back inside. Nice little touch on for Nankuru. He frees up Cordwell. Can he get a strike away? Angle closed down again. Smart doing so well there defensively. He's been a standout in this first half as we creep towards half-time.
He's been one of Adamstown's best for sure this first half. He's just stood up to the one-on-one defending there against a real threat. And how about the tidy touch from McManus as well, just to put a little one around the corner for Nankuru, and they find themselves with another corner, Edgeworth. With only minutes to go in the first half.
This one well hit, headed down though. That was Burns at the back post, then pushed forward. McKechnie took a bit of a parry, and scorer had to take a strike, pushed across the face on the third attempt. Peppering the goals, but can't find the back of the net here, Edgeworth, as we get to the end of, close to the end of regulation time in this first half.
A massive chance there from, I don't know who was struck the first one, but it was a massive save there, forcing George Scoura just to, I think, come off his left boot potentially. Fell out to Gardner for the second chance, which is whipped past pretty much everyone in the far post. Edgeworth are probably knocking on the door a little bit now. Again, dangerous on the set pieces.
Bouncing around, exchange of possession. It's going to fall out now for Gardner. Man, they got the last of those shots away. Lofts it wide, looking for Jackson. That's a well-placed ball. Jackson's header, though, deflected, and Burns will track back. Was it deflected? Burns is going to shadow it across the line. It wasn't. It's just misdirected, so it will be a goal kick. Lull, the wind drops, the crowd quiet.
Isn't
as
it
we
nice?
go towards half time.
Isn't it nice, Chris?
That is nice. The scorer is going to drive this one long. He gets underneath it. Sends it very wide over the touchline there, and the fourth official is going to let us know that there will be just 1 minute of added time to be played. So the shadows of half time are upon us. Jackson will take the throw here. Awkward prod there, and then coming in firmly, Edgeworth looking for the ball forward for McManus. Richardson heads it down, played out in front, misdirected there. McKechnie gets a boot in. Goodman all the way back. Jones. Ball in front for Fajkovic. Can they find something here? Adamstown pushing forward. Nice work there, out off his line from Ben Conway. Just nips it off the boots of Brown. And I thought there Adamstown might have got something against the run of play right in the shadow of half-time.
Yeah, wow. Ben Conway standing up big there, and I think Dino, he would have loved to have that opportunity again. I think it just come off his boot, just a little bit too heavy. Probably just gave Ben Conway a little bit of an opportunity there to come out and parrow it, but Wow. We nearly had Adamstown up 1-0 if it wasn't for Ben Conway.
Manus with a nudge there, and that was just... Just gives a nudge to Soper, and it was enough for the referee. Manus might potentially feeling hard done by after he didn't get the call going his way earlier on. Now he's waved back from the referee. Drifted into the box here. Conway comes out of the pack with it in both hands. Can't be long left now. As I say that, the referee blows half-time, and it's all square at the break. It's been a tight contest, no goals yet. Adamstown, they've certainly showed patches of energy, especially in the back end of that half. Edgeworth, some moments of quality, including that free kick from Aaron Niankuru that rattled the crossbar. You'd have to say Edgeworth have had the better of the opportunities. They've certainly had the better of territory and possession, but this game is well and truly alive in terms of contest for this second half.
Yeah, I agree. A bit of an arm wrestle. Obviously, the conditions have been tough for both sides. Edgeworth with a better possession, better ball playing, and obviously better opportunities as well. But look, don't count Adamstown out of this. It's 0-0. They're going to get confidence out of that first half. They probably had a 5-10 minute passage, which was great. And they just need to come out of the gates in the second half and just try to replicate that 10 minutes into a 45-minute.
They certainly do. Well, we'll be back with you in about 10 minutes with the second half here. All tied up at 0-0. Friday night football, match of the round in the Northern New South Wales NPL here at Lake Macquarie.
Oh yeah, that's the feeling. Progress. Momentum. Getting somewhere. That's what it feels like when you bank with Newcastle Permanent. With local experts and award-winning customer service. We're here for you, and we're here for good. Ah, yeah, that's the feeling. Progress. Momentum. Getting somewhere. That's what it feels like when you bank with Newcastle Permanent. With local experts and award-winning customer service. We're here for you, and we're here for good.
Welcome back to Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility for the second half of the round 6 match of the round. Friday night football between the Adamstown Rosebuds and the Edgeworth Eagles. Chris McPherson and Matt Butenut bringing you all of the action. And Butts, it was a first half that was probably a little disappointing for both sides. They both had their chances, but neither could capitalise, and we're deadlocked at 0-0 at the break.
Yeah, look, interesting game again. Conditions, if you're just tuning in now, quite windy here at Lake Macquarie. Friday night football here under the lights, and both sides have come out the gates, and it was a bit of an arm wrestle the first 20 minutes. We didn't see a whole lot of chances from either side. The game started to open up a little bit more direct football from both sides as well with the wind, and we saw a couple of chances there from Edgeworth towards the end of the game, and 1 or 2 as well from Adamstown. We've just probably a missed pass from Dino at the end there, which they could have gone in the gates 1-0 Adamstown. The turf's holding up all right at the moment. Bit of football being played through the middle of the pitch, but it is quite direct. The wind seems to have calmed down a little bit for now, but I wouldn't be hanging on to that at all.
Don't jinx it, Butts. Don't jinx it.
We're getting patches at the moment, but yeah, look, again, as you said, probably both sides a little bit disappointed to be going in 0-0, but all to play for the second half, Chris.
It certainly is. We're set here for kick-off. Waiting on the referee to get us underway, and there we go. Second half started. Adamstown straight away, drive it long. Jackson, the captain of Edgeworth, will bring it down to ground, and then it'll be driven on. Looking for an optimistic ball, but it falls, and Smart gets the header away, and both come out of the blocks quite quickly here. Straight into it. The players probably just looking to warm up, to be fair.
Yeah, I think so.
It's the one disadvantage on a cold night like tonight. Once you go back to those sheds and you feel the warmth. I mean, we went over to the North South Wales building here, and I was tempting to almost not leave it. It's that warm inside versus what it is outside in the wind.
Yeah, I agree.
I do have to say, this new little stand they've put in here at Spears Point on the Lake Macquarie pitch is a really good addition, and I know they've been playing some Northern League here too. I think Newcastle Croatia have some of their home games on this field, so great to see it getting used. It's nearly going to land in the other 18-yard box. Corbell just couldn't control it. That would have been some sort of highlight reel goal from the keeper. Maybe 2 touches and in.
Conway looking for an assist off the kick, and it wasn't far off there, to be honest with you. Both teams out of the gates pretty sharp, like you said. You know, from a player's perspective, you want to warm up, yes, Chris, but I have no doubt. Some shouts for a handball there on Niankuru.
Takes a strike.
I have no doubt both coaching staff for Adamstown and Edgeworth are telling their sides to come out the gates quickly and finish the half, start the half as they finished the first half. It definitely ramped up a little bit, and we know how important goals are at the start and the end of halves, where there could be a lapse of concentration, a mistake, a little bobble, and this wind as well. Anything can happen at the moment.
Conversation probably very much revolved around trying to get the jump on the opposition side, because, as you say, the one goal could be the decisive factor in this game tonight. You touched on that in the first half, Butts, and this could very easily just come down to one person taking the right bounce of the ball, the right drift, the right opportunity, as Michael Byrne goes down the left flank here and does well there to keep it in, but couldn't weight the pass as he wanted, and it'll trickle across the byline. Conway just taking his time here and reposition the ball.
Again, I think the moment's Adamstown, and I would like to see them do a little bit more of it this half. When Edgeworth looked to play out, to actually send a couple of bodies, press a little bit higher. They got 1 or 2 moments where they actually found the ball off their press and were able to attack off the back of that. They're a bit more aggressive in that front third when Edgeworth are playing out. I think they could find themselves with some good opportunities.
Chance here, quick throw taken out in front. Harris gets a little back here, he'll parry it back across the line. It'll be a second consecutive throw for Adamstown. It's going to be Ray to take it. Looks like he's shaping up for the long throw. Drives the ball off, backs himself all the way to the fence. Comes in, drives it long, but not quite as long as he would have liked to find the head of Goodman at the front. McManus pushes this forward now. Cordwell. A nice little touch back inside. Can't get to it though. Smart's the man that breaks it up. Now they club it long, Adamstown. Pushed back through the middle by Wowries. Contest there, and Kuru spills to the turf. Ryan Rook was the man that came out on top there, and now they come wide to the left with Byrne. Byrne into Brown. Brown, Soper, nearly slips up, does hold his footing. Harrison clears it somewhat. Ball still in contest. Nankuru comes away, pushes it wide. Jackson. A little slip there. You can see a few players, especially on this left edge, just losing their footing with a bit of regularity now. Just wondering if it's all the servers or whether maybe there's just a little bit of moisture coming with the cooler temperature. Ball falls into the box. Oh, Fajkovic just couldn't wind up and get hold of that. That's where we talked about that awkward bounce. It didn't fall in his favour, though. It fell against him.
Yeah, wow. Not far off there at all, Dino. Again, he's had a sniff. It's probably half a yard off, unfortunately, but it's that bobble, it's that bounce again. It's just unpredictable here.
Certainly as this one falls for Fajkovic into the box. Soper takes a shot. Conway diving to his right. We're starting to see a few of those anomalous bounces. Things just bobbling awkwardly off the pitch and starting to create some lottery situations. And now the ball going forward here. McManus trying to take on Smart. Cuts inside. He takes a shot just to the outside of the post. It didn't miss by much. It had scorer at full stretch, but no score to be registered.
Yeah, slick move there. Fast out wide to McManus, and that's where you want him, isolating his opposition player out wide, and he come in on that right foot and wasn't too far off, Chris.
He certainly wasn't far away at all. It was a nice ball played forward here by Cordwell. Gardner racing down the line against Byrne. Does well to get it in, just above a leaping. Looks like McManus. He couldn't quite get his head to it, but very promising. Each side's had their chances to open this second half already. Jones just muscling out his opponent there. The ball's returned to him by Niankuru. And they try to play it down that left flank. Goodman lays it off. Jones back in. Niankuru. Gardner can't get it. Now it falls for Brown. Nice work there, slicing through the midfield. Cuts back again, beats another, feeds it well.
Yeah, good work there from Brown.
Davidis now will play it out to the right. This is much more promising. This is some good football from Adamstown. They cross it into the box dangerously. Jackson gets ahead to it. Soper.
Brilliant work there from Soper, and they're going down the left flank now.
Brown just crosses it across. I don't think he really had a target in mind, but it's going to fall across to that right edge where Chris Ray is. Edgeworth will clear it for the time being. Richardson. Davidis. Back to Naveen Richardson. Tries to feed it into the box. It's hit but not cleared by Jones. Then on from Jackson. Now that's a nice move cutting back in. Goodman recovers. Ray is pressing. Goodman all over him. Got to be careful not to give away a foul here. They're tangling up. Are they both holding each other? I think the referee will say they are. And the foul in the end will go the way of Edgeworth against Chris Ray. See the referee and the assistant referee just let that one play out there, Butts. Both of them holding each other's jerseys, and it wasn't until one of them dragged the other one to ground that they decided to get involved.
Yeah, it was good refereeing, and Goodwin just winning the battle there as well. I actually think whoever was on the ball there for Adamstown, he actually done a great job initially to get inside of him, and probably wanted to beat him twice and didn't have to. But Adamstown, just the last couple of minutes or so, just enjoying a good spell of possession, a lot more controlled, just forcing Edgeworth to sit a little bit deeper, and we just saw a couple of balls into the box, a little bit of interplay, and that's where Adamstown look best, when they're actually backing themselves.
They've looked good when they've played forward confidently, as they loft this one over the top, and it's just going to drift out over the sideline. It could be a matter of who can take their next chance. Could go a long way to determining these 3 points here tonight at Spears Point. Of course, we are here in action at Spears Point due to the challenges that Adamstown have had with their lights. They went out mid-match last week. And that game has been noted as abandoned on the draw at the moment. decision to be made about it. The ball goes across the sideline here again, and Edgeworth will have a throw almost at the midpoint of the attacking half. And Curry presents, but they go looking for Gardner instead. Now Smart clubs it long towards halfway. All spills out from the contest there. Harrison in the end slides in, takes it away over the sideline.
Yeah, big challenge there, crucial from the centre back. Had to be made and had to be clean as he was the last defender, and Adamstown were well on their way if he was to miss that challenge.
Edgeworth back in that defensive block again. Brown leaping for it. Jackson gets a boot up. Doesn't send it far. The head from Jones sends it further. Now pushed wide. Caldwell has to track back for it though. Puts a little bit of spin on that, trying to slice it up in front of an attacker. Didn't quite get the weight right, but they recover and get the ball back, and they drop it back to Jackson. Jackson now will go wide left, trying to find Goodman out on the edge. Ray is tracking down, pulls up and decides to give it back.
Probably not the right option there from Xander.
Chris Ray just looking like he's hobbling a little after the little challenge down in that corner a little while ago. Ball chipped forward from Soper, parried out by Jones. Now bumped forward, Ray there again, trying to look for another goal for his tally for this season.
Adamstown just playing a little bit more freely now, Chris. It's good to see a little bit more ball possession in Edgeworth's half. They're just probing at the moment. In saying so, Edgeworth have been disciplined. Still nothing too dangerous. No deliveries in the box as of yet that are causing a threat.
Dino Fadkovic there trying to appeal for an Adamstown throw in. The ball hadn't gone out of play yet. Now Edgeworth come away with it. Caldwell. Jackson. Driven long and forward. Lawther gets ahead to it, not quite where he wanted it though, and it spills across the sideline.
Yeah, that may be a testament to the wind. It was a free header, but it's just hard to deal with the high ball.
Jackson looking for options, looking for targets from the throw. Goes to Caldwell, back to Jackson. Now Niankuru's pinned in a corner with 3 players. Does well to feed the ball to Jackson, that's nice. Now drops back. Ketchney gives it to Jones, out wide now. Goodman on the left. Up against Naveen Richardson, cuts back in. Can he feed it into the target? He feeds it in, it manages to thread its way through the pack. Without a glance or a touch from any, and we'll have a goal kick.
Yeah, it's a great ball in from Goodman. He's always going to come in on that right foot. He likes playing with his right foot. He's very technical, very fast, and to be honest, the runners in the box probably only half a metre off, but that's the money ball. That's where you want to put it. But no result.
Lawther goes long here, looking for Fajkovic. Gets ahead to it. It's good from McKechnie. Back over his own head, and it takes a deflection and rockets all the way back to scorer. I always thought a very ironic name for a goalkeeper. George Scorer.
Scorer. I like it.
The wind starts to pick up, although I don't need to tell you that because you can probably hear that through your speakers at home as it whips through our microphones. To apologise. Not what we can do to really manage that down at this point. As Niankuru prods this forward. Opportunity now. McManus pulls it up. Tries to feed into the box. Smart's there with a header. Out's out. Soper drops it back. Now the ball out in front, looking for a foot race. Brown's quick. Harrison got there quicker. Players going in at 100 miles an hour here, looking to come out on top of the challenge. Niankuru's pass is broken up by Soper. To react to those, but even then waited for the referee's whistle and it went in his favour and he just trotted off.
Yeah, he's kept a lid on things tonight. He's had very few moments, but he has been ruffling some feathers where he can, and he's won his side a free kick here, quite deep, but the ball will be heading into the box.
Spills wide, headed away by Jackson. He outleaps a couple of taller opponents. Now Smart working it down the left flank. Comes back in, drives it into an Edgeworth player, and they'll take the throw.
Will they
15 minutes. Sorry, Butts.
No, you're right. I was going to say, will they be winding in for this big throw? It looks like they will be. Through Burns.
So you go the long throw into the box. Finds the head of Fajkovic. He gets it away. Just too heavy for Soper in the end. Now gets in a one-on-one challenge with Goodman. He looks for the quick throw, but decides better of it as we tick on past the 60-minute mark. And still no score here at Lake Macquarie. Wind up again for the long throw. Doesn't go as long as they might have liked. McKechnie gets ahead to it. Both teams appealing for the throw, and to judge to go the way of Adamstown. They don't muck about with it. Now they go long here. Ball tracks back to Smart. Still no goals here, but around the grounds, Butts.
Yeah, 1-0 to Bell Swans over Charlestown. It was an early goal, 15 minutes in. Can't confirm a goal scorer for you for now, but I'm sure it would be a windy affair at Bell Swans tonight as well. Two sides that have had quite a good start to the season, to be honest. Bell Swans and Charlestown both looking to get 3 points tonight, but that is 1-0 at the moment.
Both probably outperforming pre-season predictions for them already early doors. It's the key up for us. Fajkovic gets a boot to it in the box. Couldn't get an on it though.
Looked like the flag was up on the far side anyway. The referees just resumed play, but again, it's that bobble, that awkward bounce, the high ball.
Oh, with a bit of wind behind him, he's certainly launching these, Conway. And on the full in the opposite 18-yard box. Now Davidis on the ball, Soper. Prods it forward for Ray, who's out wide on the right. Nothing presents, so he drops back to Richardson. Richardson using Rook. Jackson does well, breaks that up. Burns lost his footing there. Caldwell, a heavy touch, just goes a
work down the right flank here, and it was a good pick up there from the skipper as well, just to break down the play and go for a swift counter-attack. We saw Adamstown doing that a little bit more in the first half. Now Edgeworth are throwing it back the other way, and it looks like it's going to be the first corner this half for for Edgeworth, and they look for that short option again, which they elect to take.
Nankuru there, now takes on his man, cuts back in, tries to drive it in, falls to Goodman, who pushes it into the side netting. It would have been a split second of excitement for a few Edgeworth fans when they saw the netting ripple. Wrong side of the post, however. They're liking that short corner, even when the numbers are tracking out to them, because they're just sending that one man in Brown out there, and he's right on the back of McKechnie, but they don't seem to mind Edgeworth. They're happy to take that short corner and open up the angle, as this one's driven forward and easily taken by Conway.
It's funny you say that, Chris, because I think from an Adamstown perspective, you're probably happy to let them have it short as well. I think they're such a threat from the delivery. They can contain it a little bit.
A nudge there from McKechnie, not a lot in it, but takes Soper down, and Soper will earn the free kick for Adamstown. It's a slightly more dangerous position. A little bit of almost no man's land at that sort of 25 to 30 metre mark, as we're going to see some changes here. So we're going to see Chris Ray making way for Taj Buck. Watch for him to inject some energy into this game. Taj Buck. No, it will just be the one change. The former Arpia man. And through the Arpia junior systems before coming to Adamstown, and certainly impressive in stints last year at the Rosebuds. Fajkovic decides he doesn't want to take the set piece, so indicates to Ryan Rook to come forward. Floats it up, headed away for the time being, and parried on. Takes it to halfway. Smart comes out with a header. Now Lawther. Pushes it down the line. I think might have been a little optimistic, but it might play out okay. No touch. Well, shepherded in the end by the Eagles captain, and we'll have a goal kick. You just hear a few frustrations being communicated between the teams. And we go long here again through Conway. McManus leaping for it. Got a handball against McManus there.
Interesting. Past me.
His hand must have just been, well, there's no contact. They were a good metre from each other. Unnatural position, I'm guessing. And Reece McManus, halfway through his argument, gets told, well, don't worry about arguing with me. You've been called to the bench. He'll be replaced by Jaden Stewardson. The front man, the former Magic man. Has been used in the majority of his appearances so far this year off the bench.
He's a pretty handy player to bring off the bench, that's for sure. Such a big body, such good experience. He knows how to win.
Creates such a different look as Davidis takes a hit and hope shot from long range. Different look too when you've got someone like Niankuru pushing up, and Stewardson's equally adept obviously at going forward or playing as that hold up man up front as well. Sort of that old 1990s style striker of just very much how Lambton have used Archie Finn over the last couple of years. So and when you've got someone like that that can either go forward or he can drop it back to someone like Niankuru pushing through, it does create a different look for Edgeworth.
Yeah, I agree. And McManus was a threat as well, to be honest. So like for like, but a bit different in terms of how you utilise these players. It was a good stint for McManus. But Stewardson, of course, will be playing a bit more of a central role.
You almost think that those sort of front three players, as they're almost playing them, will go into more of a 2-1 rather than a 1-2 now. Let's see what they can come up with here. Dead ball opportunity. About 10 metres past the halfway line, out wide on the left. Drifted into the box. Meets everyone. Byrne got a head to it, but he lost where he had it. Brown now tracking down the sideline, but can't hold on to it. Just gets a bit too much of it in the end. He's looked likely a few times today so far, Jack Brown. Just hasn't really had the continuity that he's needed. Here's Stewardson on the ball. Deflected pass. Playing forward, Fajkovic for a ball out for Brown. It's going to be a foot race there, but McKechnie wins out. Davidis forced it over the sideline.
He's put in a hell of an effort tonight, Jack Brown. Run up and down the flank. One of the busiest for Adamstown. It's important for Adamstown now in these moments when the game starts to slow down and break down, that they really contain him, don't give it an opportunity to get out the other side to Goodman. He's obviously a threat, especially with the wing-backs they're playing. They haven't been able to utilise it as much as they did in the first half, Edgeworth. Adamstown, credit to them. They've come out the gates with the first 25, 30 minutes of this second half a lot better than the way they started the half.
Certainly has. We see Buck with his first touch there, dispossessed immediately, but the ball falls friendly in the end for Tom Smart, who drives it long, and the ball outpaces both Wowries and Fajkovic. Adamstown will be taking a lot of confidence out of the fact that, you know, we're trickling up towards the 70th minute mark, and they've gotten better as the time's gone on, certainly both in terms of their offense but also their defensive structures. So you can see why Chris Moylan is, you know, came out during the week and said, you know, we need to start turning some of these into some more points, though, because you don't want to be looking back at the end of the season and saying, geez, we played some really good games, but, you know, we left points on the table so many times, and now we're, you know, either in a relegation battle late in the season or we're out of finals contention because we didn't, you know, do the little bits of execution that we needed to.
Yeah, of course. From an Adamstown perspective, you go toe-to-toe against the double champs and have a 2-2 draw against them last week, and then you play against the Jaffas as well, who are, you know, they had some great moments in the first 30 minutes of that game. Also, Adamstown started really strong at home.
That's it. You come up against the two sides that played in the grand final last year, a team that finished in the top 3 of the regular season. We see a yellow card come out there for Naveen Richardson. But you know, you managed to do that, and now you play 70 minutes against, you know, a strong Edgeworth team, and you're right in the contest. If you walk away, even if you walk away from this with one, and you've only got 2 points from those 3 games, admittedly the Lantern one's still to go, you might feel a little hard done by, and, you know, again, you might also feel that if you're holding it against those top teams, well, maybe we should be in contention for the top 5. And to be in contention for the top 5, you've got to be good at turning 1 point games into 3 points. As this goes down for scorer and he takes it.
Yeah, I agree, Chris. And you said it early in the first half as well. We didn't elaborate on it, but I think this season you can see a very even playing field across all sides. Everyone's taking points off everyone at the moment as Dino has a crack. Looks like I might spray out for a throw-in. But yeah, it's going to be competitive this year, Chris. A lot of teams already out the gates. We see that Bell Swans Charlestown. A lot of people probably didn't have the writing on them early on, and they've really hit the ground running this season.
I think even when you look at a lot of people's top 5s, there's plenty of people that had Edgeworth either on the cusp of it or not there, and look at them at the picking up some points early because they're probably not going to have the finish the likes of a Lantern Jaffers or a Maitland FC did last year. That's skewed off the outside of the boot from Soper, and he's holding his knee after that. Hopefully nothing too serious.
We got caught looking one way.
Because if it's not a cramp, then stretching is probably not going to help.
Yeah,
I'm no doctor.
I think you're on the money there, though, Chris. I agree.
A few people starting to stretch them out there.
But again, that's the not the threat. Sorry, it's the situation tonight, right? You've got a cold night. You go into the sheds after 45 minutes. You cool down, and then you got to come back out again. It's not always the kindest on the muscles.
No. Exactly right. Can always be challenging. Either end of the weather spectrum. The heat obviously has its challenges with dehydration, with the cold when you start to stiffen up and then you get things going again. The muscles don't love that. A few of the Edgeworth players asking the referee to maybe move him along. I can understand their point.
Well, he's fit and able to, from an Adamstown perspective. You want to keep him on the field. He's been good this second half, Soper.
One of the young rising stars at just 20 years of age. Dino Fajkovic's going over there and just pointing out to him, mate, you're a young buck. Get amongst it, get back up, get on your feet. Well, to be fair, Dino's never as old as I ever think he is either, to be fair. He's only 33, so...
Yeah, he still moves.
He's been around for forever, though, but I mean, he came through so young, didn't he? Obviously, you know, that heritage too of his old man having been such a fixture in the footballing community. Dennis?
Yeah, of course. Lead him from the front, Dino. Yeah, he's doing his job again tonight.
3 goal scorers so far this season for the Rosebuds in their 3 completed games. Harry's absolutely rocketed that ball.
Deal with that, he says.
Out left. And now all of a sudden, does it pull up? No, too heavy for Taj Buck in the end. A long throw. Stewartson trying to nod it on. That looked like it might have been a handball, and there was a couple of... Back with Gardner. Harrison now. Jones on to McKechnie. Takes... Is that a shot? Did he just spot the keeper off his line then, or did he overhit it looking for the advancing runner in court? Well, I'm sure if it went in the back of the net, it was a shot. If it didn't, it was just slightly overcooked for his other purpose.
Yeah, I agree.
Jones gets up for that one. McKechnie gets to it. It's headed forward now in favour of Caldwell. He can't keep his feet, but he does get it out in front of Goodman. Richardson's tracking back there. We're going to have another corner. Richardson just getting the little toe in on it.
Yeah, something out of nothing there, and Edgeworth get an opportunity as they go to the bench now. 2 fresh legs about to get introduced into the contest.
Smith coming on for Caldwell. No. They're going to refuse to come off, are they? And we're going to have the corner. Okay, that should work. We'll come back to that in a moment. Headed on, dangerously in the box. Parried down, there's Caldwell now. Sprayed it wide. I don't think he was looking for the boot of Xander Wowries, but Wowries nearly managed to put it in the top bins, but it missed everything in the end. So now we'll have our substitutes. I thought that would have been a little ironic if Caldwell had have scored then. And the other change, it looks like, will be Gardner coming off for Kai Hurd. So Gardner coming off and Caldwell coming off. Hurd and Smith coming on.
Good shift from both the lads tonight for Edgeworth, and the 2 new boys coming on. I have no doubt they're ready to inject themselves into this game and get running.
Chance to make your name and push that starting 11 berth, isn't it, a game like this on a Friday night? Do something momentous, change the tide. Scorer. Flow through this one, good connection. Well leapt for and headed by Harrison, and now it spills kindly for Goodman. He's away down the left. Cuts back in. Claims of a foul. I'm not quite sure. There's a couple of bodies in the way. I don't know, but Kai Hurd went down rapidly. None of the officials seem to see anything either. The referees just signaled they went shoulder to shoulder. At the end of the day, that will happen in football. So all it comes to is a goal kick in the end. It's interesting, both sides came out of the gate so quickly, but you feel like they're sort of settled back into their shell a touch at the moment, Butts.
Yeah, I agree. First 20 minutes or so was quite rapid, to be honest, by both sides. Definitely unsettled down, and Soper's back on his feet.
Harrison trying to argue the fact he certainly got the ball here, but then he went through and collected the player afterwards, which is his problem. Had he not come through afterwards and got him with the other boot, I think he would have been okay. This will be an interesting spot to take one from.
From this angle, it looks like striking range.
Dino straight on to picking up the football, isn't he? He's going to, as he did with the previous one, he's going to exactly assess that. I'm not quite sure what the conversation down there is, but Aaron Nankura is obviously enjoying whatever Dino's got to say to the referee, because he has a massive grin ear to ear on his face, just chuckling at either what Dino's got to say or the height of what Dino's trying to suggest to the referee. Maybe Dino was asking for a card to come out, and Aaron thought that was the funny part of it. Aaron Nankura certainly looks like he's enjoying his evening out there in the cold. Vajkovic will take the strike. Tries to use the wind. Almost comes off. Little challenge there. Buck comes away with it. And then Conway recovers. He's done well there. Buck might have been better off just trying to pop that up for a teammate rather than going straight to goal. But hindsight is, as always, better than 20/20 vision. It's going to be too heavy, and we've seen just roll away non-threateningly.
Yeah, it's probably not the ball there. Not at the moment. They had a bit more success in the first half with the likes of McManus and Crawford. But Nankura has been a little bit quiet from play to play this half. They haven't really been combining too much, Edgeworth, through the middle. And again, I go back to Adamstown, credit to them. They've had a much better second half than their first. Not taking anything away from their first half, but certainly knocking on the door now. Scour has skewed that one off the boot.
Flemish avoided though. Ben Conway very irate, I think it'd be fair to say. After the challenge there, they've got the foul, but he wants a card. I'm not sure what a card's going to do to bring Matt Jones back to his feet, but
just going around the grounds as well. We've just got confirmation. It's 2-0 to Bell Swans over Charlestown.
Less than 10 to go as well. Bell Swans, that's a, they can hang on to that. That's a statement at home as McKechnie takes a shot off the outside of his right, just couldn't control it. Sails wide of the goals. That's a key 3 points for Bell Swans and game at Charlestown. They've been a little bit of a roller coaster earlier this season, Charlestown. They're mixing it with the best on their day, but a loss on a Friday night to Bell Swans, if that's the way it plays out from here, it'll be disappointing. Vajkovic now, tracking down the left, and Wowries just gets a boot in there and gives away throw.
Do they wind up for the big throw again?
He's caught in two minds, isn't he, here? Michael Byrne. He manages to get the big throw without a big run-up. The header comes down to the edge of the 18-yard box. Jack Brown appealing for a penalty inside, with a handball just inside the edge of the 18-yard box as Jaden Stewardson and Lawther go shoulder to shoulder here. Davidis comes away. McKechnie. That's not McKechnie, apologies. That's Smith. Now Soper. Cutting like a hot knife through butter there through a few Edgeworth defenders as Byrne plays it back to Lawther. He'll go all the way back to scorer who's out of his box, and Tyson Jackson all the way downfield there. He goes long. To the inside the last 10 minutes here as well. We push forward. Good work there, Goodman. He's beaten a couple, gets around a third. He's just going to put the afterburners on. Nutmegs Byrne before he recovers and pushes it across the sideline. It's going to go just to the goal side of the corner post. So just something different. Edgeworth will have another corner.
Yeah, tidy work there from Goodman, to be fair. This might be the first set piece that number 10, or maybe not.
I think there's one corner in the first half on the far side as well. It's his less favoured boot for Niankuru.
You're right. It's
That's
the out spinner.
His other boot's just as good as most people's best boot as they get up for this one, and it goes wide of the target. Much better execution. They didn't even bother with the short one there. But just couldn't get the force on the header. George Scorer not in any real rush here. You wonder here for both these sides, is it push for the win all the way through stoppage time, or is there a point where you decide that maybe hanging on for 0-0 here might be advantageous at some point? This one's chipped forward. Stewardson does well to control it with the chest. Takes a little bit of a pot shot there from range.
A little bit ambitious there.
Just trying to catch scorer unawares. Didn't work. Story if you're on the back foot the whole time, then all of a sudden you go, right, we'll settle in, we'll park the bus, we'll take a point, especially if you're a, well, either side in this case. I mean, if Adamstown, trying to secure points just to keep them above the relegation zone, and Edgeworth to keep the undefeated. Goodman gets to the outside here. Being a little too heavy in the end, it'll be a goal kick. As I was saying, if you're Edgeworth, maybe keeping that undefeated run intact if you're on the back foot, but both these sides are on the front foot and well in the game, so just having a look. Another change coming. Looks like Soper, after that cramping issue a little earlier on, will make way. Just trying to identify who the player is that's coming on. Is it maybe Jockener? Just trying to work out and see a number. The fourth official might tell us, or we might see the back of his jersey. Oh, that's jersey 14, so it is Jockener. Zach Jockener in jersey 14. Comes on. So a solid stint. Probably didn't get as many shots or attempts on goal as he might have liked, Soper, but nonetheless showed some moments. There's pinballs around here. That's well pushed. Here, so he has to just chip it forward for Smart. Tell you what, if this remains 0-0, I think Tom Smart's got a very good argument for player of the match tonight. He's been outstanding at the back. Brown tries to play it through the legs of Jackson. Jackson hustles on. They go toe-to-toe, shoulder-to-shoulder. Played forward. Reel it in. Adamstown going with a long throw. Broken up by Goodman. Now pushed up into the sky. Davidis is there up against Nankuru. Hurd arrives and parries it forward. Stewartson. Jaden Stewartson, even when he's in the midfield, he's running around, he tucks his arms back behind him, just so cognizant of not giving away a handball. And those pinballing, he almost, once he gets those arms behind, he just looks like a large emperor penguin.
I think it's almost habit.
I think it is. Yeah, it would just be a forced second nature thing, wouldn't it?
Yep.
It might be the black and white strip that makes me think he looks like a penguin as well. Maybe less so when he was in Magic. Drew has just collected on the way through. Again, I think it was one of those ones where no one knew where the other one was. And Brown's gone down and gone face first into the turf.
It was a nice little passage of play there, just a little combination, and it's probably one pass short of getting in the back line there of Edgeworth, and the referee's seen a foul in the build-up play. And it's in a really dangerous position, Chris.
It certainly is. It's going to be an opportunity for a man who's very adept. We obviously saw what Aaron Niankuru could do in the first half when he rattled the crossbar, and to be fair, it's the closest either side's come to scoring. But now it'll be Dino Fajkovic, the 33-year-old stalwart of the Adamstown Rosebuds, to stand over this one, about 24 out from goal, just maybe a metre to the left of centre. As Ben Conway immediately gets set with working with his wall.
You almost think from this range, Chris, left or right of the goal, you're putting it in the box, but I think if you're dead on, you're probably having a crack. I wouldn't be surprised if he's going goal bound here. It would take something special to beat Conway from there, but...
Here he goes, Fajkovic takes the strike, finds the chest of Conway. I think he probably was looking to curl that a little more than he did. In the end, just finds almost dead centre of the goals. Conway only has to take a half step to get hold of it, and they go forward and go long. Smart, the man with the header, Richardson. Pops it down, but it falls for Hurd at the back post. Parried down. Well done, George. Scorer stops the shot from Goodman. Goodman probably would have liked a better effort from himself. But that's the first time scorers... Fourth official showing 5 minutes additional time to be played. Niankuru tries to push forward. Lawther breaks it up. They continue to go forward here. Edgeworth. Taj Buck just comes in, hip and shoulder on the player.
Joey Smith just winning a foul there. He's had minimal contribution since he's come on the field. But that was a big one there, and Niankuru, of course, will be standing over this one. And now Edgeworth have got an opportunity from a similar position with a set piece. Just going back to that previous play, Chris. Tell you what, that was a golden opportunity, probably the best of the game thus far. And Goodman almost looked like he was just trying to place it, like a lot of technique, and just trying to guide it in rather than, you know, find any sort of corner. And
let's see what Aaron Niankuru can do. Takes a shot, takes a deflection, and pops up for scorer. Back-to-back moments for him, and he's been up to the task both times. That's good pressure there from Edgeworth. Just trying to see who that was pushing up on him. It was Jones who pushed up there on the keeper, just forcing him to go a little more aerial rather than long. All pinballing around. It'll be an Adamstown throw here. Edgeworth tried to take it quickly, but some emotion starting to spill over on the benches on the far side here at Lake Macquarie. Still 0-0 late in this game. Still there for the taking, or will it be a share of the points? Still 2-0 in stoppage time at Blacksmiths. Make a very happy Mick Stafford if it remains that way, Butts. Always a man that's happy to share his emotions.
yeah, that's for sure.
Very passionate football man is Mick Stafford.
That he is, and yeah, it's a big result at home for them. Had some good results to start this season, as we said earlier, and they're going to be a bigger threat than a lot of people thought they'd be this season.
They certainly finished last season well. They showed some real glimpses at different points and made some key tactical movements in terms of players they let go and players they recruited this season. Not sure what all the appeals are for there. Lawther coming away with it. Time ticking down here. Forward. Vajkovic loses his footing and the ball just bounces back away.
In football at the moment as we're winding up this game.
Well, that's the question before, whether either side would be settling for a draw. It doesn't look like it at this point. Over 2 minutes time remaining here, just to add that final touch that we probably didn't need.
Yeah, both coaches animated as well. They both know they can get a result in the game.
Michael Byrne on the ball, drives long, sends it to the other end. He's absolutely got hold of that. Bouncing, barking orders in midfield. Ball falls here. Chance of Vajkovic, is it? No. Collision. Still on the ground. Floated in dangerously, but not dangerously enough, and it trickles away in the end. And Vajkovic still down as we head to almost 4 minutes of stoppage time gone here. Of course, don't forget to stay tuned to Northern New South Wales YouTube channel across the weekend. All of the men's and women's first and reserve grade matches live and free this weekend.
Western, yeah, it's going to be a great game, I think. Super excited for that.
A little volley there from Niankuru, back over his head, a half bicycle, if you will. Scorer just trying to slow things down. Yeah, that would be an absolute cracker. Two of the signs that we're in a lot of pundits, certainly top three, if not grand final contention. I know you won't comment too much on that, and I wouldn't ask you to.
No, it'll be exciting. It'll be a great battle.
Well, looking forward to that one. Edgeworth now push forward through Jackson. Tries to play it in against the... We saw Edgeworth win a game with a plucky goal in round one. That was from the corner. Could Adamstown just nab something here late? No, they can't. And our referee says that is full time, and despite the fact there was very few goals and some very challenging weather, what a match this was. Points shared and a fair reflection of a hard-fought contest. I think Adamstown will take some confidence. Edgeworth, they'll remain unbeaten, but both sides will be a little disappointed they didn't take more from this. Butts, how do you think both sides will come away from that, and how will they view it?
Yeah, tough nights, tough condition. Of course, Friday night football. I think Adamstown take a lot of confidence out of that, especially coming off the back of that Magic game. Jaffers, and now to go 0-0 against Edgeworth, they're going to move on with confidence despite not finding their first win of the season. I think Edgeworth still undefeated, a little bit disappointed. We saw the team express that frustration a little bit at the end, trying to send numbers forward in search for that goal, but they'll march on, and both sides I think will get value out of tonight regardless of the result.
They certainly will. Well, tight margins. There's been some big moments, but none breaking the deadlock. That's NPL football for you. A big thank you to you for joining us tonight for your NPL Northern New South Wales action. And as I said just before, make sure you stay right here on Northern New South Wales YouTube channel for all of the action across the 2026 season, live and free. On behalf of myself, Chris McPherson and Matt Butner, have a great evening and enjoy your football.
Did I teach you anything?